Over the decades, the NBA Finals became the biggest scene for NBA stars to shine, and in the 2010s, we saw many of those stars rise to the occasion and get the trophy. Today, I'll be talking about the champions of the NBA throughout the 2010s, but before I get into this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. But without further ado, let's get into the video. For the first matchup in 2010, we saw the Boston Celtics rematch against the Los Angeles Lakers. The Celtics and Lakers games dated all the way back to the 80s, and that rematch was revived in 2008 with the Celtics winning that matchup. But in 2010, the two faced off in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Celtics took Game 1, and the Lakers came back and won Game 2. The two teams continued to go back and forth and took it all the way to Game 7 in LA. In Game 7, it came down to the wire, but a Ron Artest 3 late in the game put the Lakers up by 6 points. The Celtics tried to come back, but it was too late, and the LA Lakers became the NBA champs. In the summer of 2010, LeBron James made one of the biggest decisions in his career at the time.
What's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
With LeBron and Miami teaming up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, the Heat became one of the best teams in the league. They made it all the way to the NBA Finals where they faced the Dallas Mavericks. At this time, Dallas made one of the most infamous playoff runs in NBA history. With players like Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Kidd, they beat players like Kobe Bryant, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant. The two teams split the first two games and tied the series at 1. In Game 3, the Heat took over in Miami and took the lead 2-1. But in the next 3 games, the Mavericks dominated the series and beat Miami 4-2. And for the first time in history, the Dallas Mavericks were NBA champions. In 2012, we saw an Oklahoma City Thunder team full of rising stars. They had players like Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook in their lineup. They made it all the way to the finals to face the Miami Heat. At this time, Miami was looking to bounce back from their loss in the previous year. Unlike the other series, this one was a clear win for the Heat. It was evident that the Thunder was lacking experience and Miami was seeking redemption. They ended the series in 5 games. And for the second time in history, the Miami Heat were NBA champions. In 2013, the Miami Heat were making a run to win back-to-back championships, but they would stumble upon a fully rebuilt San Antonio Spurs team. The Spurs won multiple championships in the 2000s, but they were looking to capture their first in the 2010s. With new players like Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, they made it all the way to the NBA Finals. In this series, Miami found themselves down 3-2 heading into Game 6. In this game, the Heat found themselves down 3 in the final minutes of regulation. This game went into overtime and Miami took the win in Game 6. They continued to dominate in Game 7, earning their way to back-to-back titles. In 2014, we saw a rematch between the Spurs and the Heat. This time, the Spurs became the team that was looking to redeem themselves in the finals. It was here where the Spurs began their revenge tour and beat Miami in the first game. Miami took Game 2 in a close 98-96 win, but the Spurs won the remaining games and kept Miami from getting their first three-peat. In 2014, LeBron James made yet another move in free agency. He decided to return to the team that originally drafted him, the Cleveland Cavaliers. James teamed up with a young point guard Kyrie Irving and power forward Kevin Love. This team dominated the Eastern Conference and made it all the way to the finals where they faced the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors had a newly built team at the time with lethal shooters like point guard Stephen Curry and shooting guard Klay Thompson. In this series, the Cavs started off with a huge setback with the injury to Kyrie Irving. Although they had a shorthanded lineup, the Cavs still tied with the Warriors at 2-2. But the Warriors won the next 2 games, ending it in 6 and winning the NBA Finals. In 2016, we saw part 2 of the last matchup. This time, the Cavaliers had a fully loaded lineup and they were seeking redemption. At first, Golden State looked like they were the front runners. They got out to a 3-1 lead and they were on their way to their second championship. However, the Cavaliers showed otherwise. They won games 5 and 6, extending the series to a Game 7. In this game, both teams went back and forth and it came down to the wire. With a big-time block by LeBron James, the Cavs set themselves up for one of the most iconic plays in NBA history. With the Cavs up 3, the Warriors tried to get a shot off in the final seconds, but was not able to achieve that. And for the first time, the Cavs were NBA champions. In 2016, the Golden State Warriors made one of the biggest free agency signings in NBA history. They went and signed Kevin Durant, who left the Oklahoma City Thunder. At this point, the Warriors had become a fully loaded team with an all-star lineup. They picked up where they left off and found themselves in the 2017 finals against, once again, the Cleveland Cavaliers. At this point, the Cavs were at a boiling point with tensions between Kyrie and LeBron and the rest of the organization. But they still made it to the finals for the 3rd time. In this series, it was clear that the Warriors were the better team. They ended up beating the Cavs 4-1 in this series and captured their second title. In 2017, the Cavs decided to make a few moves in their roster. They traded Kyrie Irving for Isaiah Thomas and acquired LeBron's former teammate Dwayne Wade as well. This will ultimately fail, but this didn't stop LeBron from having one of his best seasons ever. He placed second in MVP voting and made first team All-Pro. The Cavs went on and faced yet again the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals, only for this time to end in a sweep and LeBron's departure from Cleveland. In 2018, the Raptors signed Kawhi Leonard in a trade that sent DeMar DeRozan to the Spurs. With LeBron out of the East, the Raptors won the Eastern Conference and headed to the finals where they would face the reigning champion Golden State Warriors. At this time, the Warriors were still a good team, but they were wounded internally. With bad injuries and bickering amongst teammates, they looked wounded heading into the playoffs. But they still made it to the finals to face Toronto. The two teams split the first two games, but injuries affected the Warriors once again, and they cannot come back from it. After the Warriors won Game 5, the Raptors closed it out in Game 6, earning their first title in franchise history. With the NBA Finals coming up, I just wanted to look back on some of the past championships. If you like this video, comment which decade I should talk about next, and I'll see you all in the next video.